Continuing with the pranayama and the benefits of the pranayama for being able to discipline the mind. There is a connection between the mind and the breath. Prana means all the 5 pranas are there, but actually prana here means only respiration. So, when I breathe consciously, then the mind gets disciplined, trained and tranquilized. Like wild animal, what do? You can't catch it. Even if it is sick, to help a wild animal, you can't say, let me take your temperature, and you can't approach it. So what do? From far they will throw one tranquilizer dart, and then it will go to sleep. Then they can take it to the hospital, treat it, etc. And then before it awakens, release it where they found it, so that it will not bite anybody. So with the tigers, elephants, all this they do. So the tigers and elephants, the internal tigers and elephants here, in the form of obsessive compulsive thinking, in the form of all kinds of self-sabotage thinking, in the form of fears, and let's not forget the staples. What is that? Raga and Dvesha. In the form of Raga, Dvesha, they are all there, the lions and tigers and everything. Which is why the Lord Krishna says to Arjuna in the Bhagavad Gita, at the last verse of the 3rd chapter, what does he say? Jahi Shatrum Mahabaho Kamarupam Durasadam. Durasadam means that which is difficult to conquer. What is difficult to conquer? Kama. Kama means Raga Dvesha included. It's difficult to conquer that which is difficult to conquer, and you have to do this. And he addresses him as Mahabaho. Hey you with the big arms. Here you have worked out and you can shoot arrows. He was ambidextrous. You can shoot arrows with the left hand and right hand equally. You are what is called Savyasachi. And you can do all this, and all your prowess is of no use if you cannot conquer the enemy within. That which is the Shatru. Shatru means that which is inimical to you. The one who is inimical to you is called Shatru, and the Shatru you have to conquer means what? You have to be very much alert to what is happening. So this inner mastery is the bread and butter of Vedanta. And so here Arjuna is told you have to conquer the Raga and Dvesha. And see, many people cannot study Vedanta because as soon as you say Vedanta, they run away. Okay? Because the preparation in the mind is not there. When you tell them to meditate, they cannot meditate. They get restless. As soon as they sit down, all kinds of thoughts, fears and things to do, they recollect and they want to run away immediately. So they cannot meditate. They cannot study Vedanta. What else to do? At least watch the breath. This is called Prana Vikshanam. And once they get to a place of watching the breath, then what happens? Then a little quietude comes, and then we can teach them pranayama. After that we can teach them pranayama, and then we can help them to do this. And the pranayama is very good not only for health, but also for the regulation of the mind. The mind is very quickly, the emotions get dysregulated. Regulated means I'm able to handle it. Things happen. I mean, life is not, see all these new things to get used to. Like what is this? So life is not going to be always like a placid lake. It's going to have waves. Waves of joy, waves of sorrow, waves of anger, waves of fear. It will have waves. All you need, you can't even say all you need is another person. In fact, all you need is yourself. That's enough. Because the samsara is in between these two temples in the form of my own perceptions, wrong perceptions, misperceptions. And so therefore I have to come out of this somehow, and then this is called, and then because I'm acting out all the time. How am I acting out? I'm acting out in response to the perceptions, not in response to the reality. If we are talking of absolute reality, there is no reaction, there is no action, everything is fine. But that absolute reality does not cause any problems. This is intermediary thing. What is that intermediary thing? The Vyavaharika Satta. The intermediary empirical reality of names and forms, because these pesky, annoying names and forms I have to deal with every day. Even when I don't want to say hello, I have to say hello. I don't feel like talking to somebody, but they are right there. And I have to deal with them. I have to interact with them. All these things are there. Therefore what? What do I need to do? What do I have to do? What I have to do is to be able to re-regulate my emotions that have gone to a place of dysregulation. This re-regulating of the emotions, of course, is achieved in the long term through therapy, yoga, and pranayama, Vedanta, etc. Definitely. But supposing if we are talking of therapy, the emotions don't go out of control just before the next therapy session. You cannot tell the emotions, tomorrow is my therapy session and please wait till then. Don't give me a hard time today. But when will it come? Today itself. Nobody is available. You try to call a friend, they are not available. You try to call the therapist, they are not available. You try to call a Swami, they are also not available. So, when all else fails, you try to call the Swami. And then sometimes people don't wait till all else fails. They call the Swami in the beginning. But let's say the Swami is also not available. Fir kya? What to do then? So then we have to learn some self-soothing practices. The virtual pacifier. Something you have to do. You need a little pacifier. When you were small, the mother put the pacifier in the mouth. Now we have to learn to do that for ourselves. And this pranayama is a very, very good way. It's a wonderful way to be able to have that inner space that Pujya Swamiji always talked about. Have the inner space between yourself and the roles, yourself and the emotions, yourself and the reactions. And that inner space is being talked about here. So it says, Chitta Vayavaha. Chitta Vayavaha Chit Kriya Yutaha. Chitta Vayavaha Chit Kriya Yutaha. So now there are two things here. There is Chittam. Here Chittam means mind. Don't confuse Chittam with Sat Chit Ananda. Those are two different things. So Chittam here means what? Mind, emotions. So Chittam, the emotive faculty of the mind. Alright, Vayavaha means that which is born of Vayu. What is born of Vayu? Prana. Respiration is born of Vayu. Respiration is born of Vayu. So the respiration along with the emotions. Okay? So then what is that? The respiration along with the emotions. Chitta Vayavaha Chit Kriya Ayutaha. Chitta Vayavaha Chit Kriya Ayutaha. And then Shakhayor Dvayi Shakti Mulaka. Shakti Mulaka. So little difficult, this verse is, because it's a little involved and needs a lot of, what is that called, background, needs a lot of background to understand. So we will look at this carefully. So Chitta Vayavaha means the mind and the prana together. Chitkriya Yutaha means Yutaha means Yuktaha, endowed with Chit, knowledge. Here Chit and Chittam are different. First Chitta is what? Emotions. The first Chitta is emotions, the second is Chit, as in Sat Chit Ananda, and that means knowledge, consciousness, knowledge, the ability to know, the Shakti to know. And then Kriya is the Shakti to act. So, Chitta Vayavaha, the mind and the breathing functions, which is the prana, are endowed with two things. One is the ability to know, and then the ability to act. So, knowledge and activity are there associated with the mind. The mind is associated with knowledge, and the prana is associated with what? Activity. Do you understand this? So we are talking of Jnana Shakti and then Kriya Shakti of the person. And so the Jnana Shakti is associated with, or is considered to be, the property of what? Mind. Kriya Shakti is associated with or belongs to what? Prana. This much if you understand, and then we can go further. So then let us understand the last part. Shakhayoho dvayi. So dvayi means these two. Which two are we talking about? Jnana Shakti and then Kriya Shakti. These two Shaktis are Shakha, branches. These two Shaktis are branches of what? Moola Shakti. What is Moola Shakti? Maya. Not you, okay? But, yeah. Moola Shakti is Maya. Power. And so that Maya has two branches which I can see, which I can visualize, which I can understand as expressing through the mind in the form of the ability to know, and expressing through the respiration as a metaphor for the ability to act. So, why suddenly this Maya came? Because she deludes. That's why. Sometimes even pranayama doesn't work. Why? Because of this. So, Maya has three gunas. Gunas means what? Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. Qualities. It's almost like she paints the whole Jagat with the colors. The primary colors, they will say red, green, blue, whatever. I always get confused with that. Maya's colors are what? She has a palette and a brush, Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. Everything is painted. And even if you say, no, not me. I want to be a Vedantin. No, already painted. But thankfully, what she can paint is the body, mind, sense complex, not you. So even though you feel trapped in the painting, oh my God, oh no, and let me out. Even though you feel trapped in the painting, you are not trapped. You are as though trapped. You are not trapped. You can unravel from that painting the moment you understand. The moment you understand this, that which she is not able to paint is me. And that's the only thing unchanging, the only thing immortal, and the only thing that is worth talking about. Everything else is painted, except I. So that is how one transcends Maya. And so therefore, we have to understand that everything in the universe, including the Veda, including Vedanta also, is under the influence of Maya. She is the creator after all. She is the Parashakti. So therefore, oh then even Upanishads, Maya, yes, sure. Oh then how will a Mayik Upanishad help me to come out of Maya? That is because the knowledge, and he'll tell this little later in detail, but for now, that is because that it works because the knowledge is not in the book called the Upanishad. Where is the knowledge? In the head of the teacher, and through the head of the teacher, it is transferred to the head of the student in the form of what is called vritti jnanam. The thought is communicated. So the thought, you are the whole, is carried in the head of the teacher and communicated to the head of the student via the ear. Do you see now why Shramanam is so important? If you don't hear, then it doesn't work. So this is called vritti jnana. And the thought itself self-destructs. The thought is temporary. Kshanika vrittihi. The vritti is kshanika. It goes away, but then it has done its job. It goes away. It has done its job. In ancient, in some culture, they used to have, I think, ancient Egypt. So they had some bark of a tree over which they would send, thin bark of a tree, they would send the message and then they would coat it with something so that it would not fall into wrong hands. So as soon as it was opened, that coating would make sure that as long as you read, it looks like a message. After that, the message would catch on fire, self-destruct. Vedanta communication is much like that. The thought dies away. But what has the thought accomplished before dying away? It has taken away the ignorance. This is a particular kind of vritti called akhandakara vritti. And this vritti, what does it do? It removes ignorance. It doesn't put any knowledge there. Knowledge is already you. It doesn't put anything. This akhandakara vritti removes the ignorance, and then like even the eclipse being removed by the time. There is an eclipse which lasts for 2 hours. So 2 hours later, the sun or the moon, the eclipse leaves, leaving in its wake the bright sun. You don't have to manufacture the sun. What do you have to do? Remove the shadow. The shadow here is in the form of I don't know myself. Shadow has 2 parts. It's a 2-part shadow, that's why it's so thick. The first part of the shadow called self-ignorance is ajnanam, I don't know myself. The second part of the shadow is anyatha jnanam. But since I have a free will, since I have a mind that is so free, I am free enough to come to judgmental conclusions about the truth of myself. Judgmental conclusions. And therefore I feel mental. That's all it is. This is part 2. And if you look closely, you will see that only the human beings enjoy, if it can be called that, both the parts of ajnana. Part A and part B, only human beings have. The dog has only, all the other animals has only part A. What is part A? It doesn't know itself. Dog doesn't say, actually there's a spelling mistake, I should be G-O-D, not D-O-G. It doesn't say that. It's happy. It's happy being what it is because it's not crying, we don't see any distress on its face. In Rishikesh, right outside the ashram where we walk on the Ganga, there is a 3-legged dog. One leg, I don't know, some accident or something happened, and it just greets you, wags the tail, greets you, jumps on you with those 3 legs. It's okay. It doesn't, say, why me? Why my karma was only bad? Why only I have 3 legs? Look at all the other doggies. They have 4 legs each. And then I have been badly treated by the by Prakriti. I need a prosthetic leg. It doesn't ask for that. It's happy being what it is. Totally happy by itself. So part 1 is for all the creatures in the universe. Part 1 and part 2 is for us alone. Special creatures called human beings have part 2 of Atma Ajnanam called Anyatha Jnanam. Mandukya talks about this. Mandukya Upanishad talks about this. Anyatha Jnanam, Ayatha Jnanam, however you want to say, is wrong knowledge. If it is no knowledge, then actually Vedanta is very easy. If I did not know who I was, then only one class is enough. Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma Tvamasi. Oh, thank you, I did not know. Finish. And the rest of the time we can explore the island even more. So, because there's nothing more to do. Atma Jnanam has taken place. We can do whatever we want. But why we have to come morning and night and studying all the time? Undergoing difficult situations sometimes. Why do we have to do that? We have to do that because of this second part, Anyatha Jnanam. If I didn't know, if there is no knowledge, it's very easy. But if there is wrong knowledge, then the work becomes a little more involved. First, the wrong knowledge has to be removed. Because it's not the question of no knowledge. Wrong knowledge is there. The wrong knowledge has to be removed, and that takes time. Why? Often it takes time because I have been carrying this wrong knowledge for centuries and beyond different births. It is still there. And all these, and then the Anyatha Jnanam is also there in the way one is brought up. I have to be like this only. Why? Because I am a man. And somebody else will say, no, this is the correct way to behave. Why? Because I am a woman. And somebody else will say, no, I am from this particular culture and we all do this way only. It's okay to be a part of a culture and do something, nothing wrong. But to say, this is my identity, that is the problem. This is my identity, that it is a certain kind of what is that? There is a constriction. What we are talking of is freedom, expansiveness. But here what is there? It's just a kuntha, constriction. That constriction has to be removed. There should be an inner freedom. And that freedom cannot coexist with all these rules. Rules are necessary. I am not saying that one has to become an anarchist and do away with all the rules. That ye baat nahi hai. That's not the point. The rules are there and everything is there, but then there are some silly rules which make no sense. Like in certain areas in India, I don't know where, but maybe in North India, in particular village, in Rajasthan I think, they had this custom. Every time there was a marriage, they had to bring one cat and then put it under a basket, and until that happened, the marriage ceremony cannot take place. Whether it was exchange of garlands or yajna, and in the meantime the cat is screaming its head off. Wow, wow, wow. And then it is also probably blessing the couple. We don't know what it's doing, but no animal wants to be trapped under a basket. So then it continued like this. Probably it still continues, we don't know. And then when asked, the people were very defensive apparently. Somebody told me this story. People were very defensive. No, this is how we have been doing for a century. We can't change now. Because what if the marriage breaks up? If we don't do this properly, this is one of the things. But use your brains. What happened? Maybe many centuries ago, the marriage was about to take place. A cat walked into the marriage hall. Or maybe it was outdoors. Who knows? And then so as to not disturb, somebody just was sitting there so that it will not climb in the yajna or sip the ghee, because cats like all these things. So that it will not spoil the yajna, the homa, they must have just covered it up with a basket and kept it like that so that let the marriage go on. But then what has happened? That has become the main ritual. Wherever you can find a cat, all the cats hide, I think, as soon as marriage invitation is given. So these kinds of rules. And then certain other rules come in families. We don't talk to this particular family. Why? Everybody has forgotten because it has been, what is the grudge? Nobody knows. But I have to fulfill this legacy. I have to fulfill this legacy of not talking to this one. Why? Because from 5 centuries, my ancestors did not do this. Do you think your ancestors are sitting wherever they are in Pitraloka, in the land of the forefathers and the foremothers? They are sitting there waiting for you to fulfill this grudge. Don't you think they have undergone a transformation? Don't you think it's time for you to undergo a transformation? But no, this is what it is. Everybody has done this. I also have to do this. Silly things. And then people will tell, openly. In our family, we are all very high strung. As though it's a compliment. Yeah, we are all very high strung. Mother is high strung. Father is high strung. And then grandfather was also high strung. His grandfather must have also been high strung. His grandmother also must have been high strung. Her mother also is high strung. And therefore what? I have no option. I am also high strung. Really? You have no option? Where is your free will? No, but that's how it is. If I am not anxious, then I will feel like like a outside of the family. I want to be included. This is the way to be included? No, if I come out of this, they'll feel bad. They'll feel bad. That's why I am also high strung. This is wrong. This is not the way to honor the family legacy. This is not the way to carry over the legacy. This is not the legacy that should be carried over at all. In our family, everyone is sad. Therefore what? I'm also sad. Even if you give me sannyasa, please call me Sadananda. Ridiculous. I had to introduce one Swami once in the US. So somebody called, they said, can you please introduce him? When I was in Atlanta. And so I said, sure. When I was in Georgia, I said, sure, what's his name? They said, Sadananda. I said, no, it must be Sadananda. So like this, everybody is moping around, and if I don't mope around, I will not be accepted. I need validation, and then again I have an attack of what will they think it is, and then this is how these kinds of stupid legacies continue. Anxiety, fear, guilt, hurt, all these things cannot be the familial legacy. In fact, your family is desperate for at least one person to come out of this so that there is some sanity there. And how to come out of this is what exactly we have studied. This is exactly what we have to first question these things. We have to question, is it needed? And here, coming to Vedanta, even one's basic identity is questioned. That's why the name of all the Swamis end in what? Ananda. Yeah. So unisex name, because even one's gender is questioned. You don't even identify as a man or a woman. No, what to talk of, this is my country, this is my thing, all this. Yasyasti sarvatra gatihi sakasmat swadeshasya ragena yati nasham. The one who is all pervasive. Why? Because she or he knows, I am Atma. Yasya sarvatra gatihi asti. Saha kasmat. How? Swadeshasya ragena. Out of the love of country, community, etc. Yati nasham. How will they come to destruction? because they identify with a particular country, particular community, particular village, particular house, whatever you call it. Tatasya Kupaha Ayam iti Bruvana, the one who says, this is my great grandfather's well. Ksharam Jalam Kapurushaha Pibanti. And that well has become silted with all kinds of, what is that called? Clay, and the clay deposits, mineral deposits, and the mixture of, maybe it's next to the ocean, so it's a mixture of salt water is there. And still this fellow continues to drink the acrid water, saying what? This well belonged to my great grandfather. Therefore I have to drink this. And this particular verse says, Kapurushaha. Kapurushaha means cowardly people who are not ready to look out of this box in which one has put oneself. And that is this box of Maya. First you want to reproduce Maya, but then because one doesn't know any better, one reproduces the Maya in one's life, and then after that one wants to come out of this. Very difficult. So, in the second chapter, in the third chapter I think, in the second chapter only, the Arjuna is told, Traigunya Vishaya Vedaha. Even the Vedas are full of, come under the spell of the three gunas. Traigunya Vishaya Vedaha. But you, Arjuna, Nistraigunya Bhava. You come out of these gunas. And how? Lord Krishna only will give thee methods. Nirdvandvo Bhava. Number 1. Nitya Sattvastho Bhava. Niryoga Kshemo Bhava. Atmavan Bhava. 4 upayas are given how to come out of this Maya. 4 upayas are given. Nirdvandvo Bhava. Nirdvandva means you come out of this duality. The subject-object duality is overrated. Now we have enough Vedanta to know that this should not bother me. And you can falsify the subject-object duality by knowing that the subject and the object are what? One source, Brahman. Brahman as though morphing as subject, as though morphing as what? Object. Why? Because Brahman is neither subject nor object. Therefore, it can appear as both subject and object without being either subject or object. This I have to understand. For this, solution is Vedanta. Continued and committed exposure is the only solution. Nirdvandvo Bhava. Nitya Yogastho Bhava. Be in this Karma Yoga all the time, continuously. Clarify your actions. Clarify the motivations behind your action. Don't do the action for personal gain. Do the action for personal growth. There is a difference. For personal gain means I am in the vyuha. Vyuha means a kind of a maze. As long as I am in this maze, I can never call myself amazing. So from this maze, I have to get to the place of being amazing. When will I become amazing? When I get out of this vyuha, when I get out of this terrible, what is that called? Spiraling, downward spiraling into depression, anger, sorrow. That's what this action-reaction does. We have seen this right in the beginning of this text itself. So I have to come out of this. And so, Nitya Sattvasthaha, Nitya Yogasthaha. So what I do is, I follow Karma Yoga, and then following Karma Yoga means I catch hold of Sattva Guna. How many gunas are there? 3. There is Tamas, there is Rajas, and then there is Sattva. Sattva is godliness. Very close to the Atma, Sattva is. The nature of the Atma and the nature of the Sattvic person are very close. So therefore I catch hold of the Sattva, let go of Rajas and Tamas. Rajas means what? All kinds of restlessness, out of balance. We are talking of out of balance Rajas, out of balance Tamas. Because Tamas is there in everybody. Otherwise you can't sleep at night. You need Tamas for rest. You need Rajas to go, even go to the dining hall, you need Rajas to go there and sit and eat. We are not talking of that. We are talking of imbalance, Rajas in imbalance, which is resentment, anger, fear. And Tamas is what? Dukkha, sorrow, holding grudges, all these things is Tamas. So, come out of that by catching hold of Sattva. Even Sattva, even Sattvika people say that even Sattva is what? Can be an impediment to Vedanta. Because we have to come out of all the gunas, not just two. How to come out of Sattva? Don't worry about it. Why? Because it is close to being you. It's like the pole vault sport. Pole vault means what? The runner has to clear this what's it called? This big high jump. There will be a thread there. There will be a string there. How to do that? Oh my God, it's over there. How to do that? He starts running from a distance with a big pole. And he uses the pole which he just kind of sticks in the sand and then what? Vaults over. What happens to the pole? Does he also have to catch it and bring it across? That gets left behind on its own. The pole has completed and fulfilled its purpose and it does not have to come across. He has to go across. He or she has to come across. The player, the sportsman or sportswoman has to come across, not the pole. So then even the ancient example has to do with the pole. It's called Harishchandra Dandavatu. So Harishchandra was a king who was reduced to some very difficult situations because Bhagavan Vishnu was testing him. So he went through terrible trials, lost his kingdom, lost everything, lost his child also. And he was forced to take up a job in the crematorium. So then in the crematorium, what is the job? Pushing back the bodies which because of certain gases in the dead bodies, sometimes they jump. And so you have to push them back and make sure they are burned properly because the family may come to collect the ashes, etc. So you have to make sure that is the thing. So after pushing the body and making sure it's burning properly, how do you push the body back in the fire? With a pole, with a stick called danda. What do you do with the danda? Throw it into the fire. It's like that. Sattva resolves into Atma Jnanam. Sattva prepares one into Atma Jnanam. So, and Karma Yoga increases Sattva. And so I adhere to a life of Karma Yoga so that my Sattva quotient increases. Sattva quota increases. I become so sattvic and pure. There is the thoughts also don't come after a while. Wrong thoughts, difficult thoughts also don't come, they get resolved at the source itself. And then Nitya Sattvastho Bhava. How to become Nitya Sattvastha? Next one will give Niryoga Kshemo Bhava. Be the one without yoga and kshema. Without yoga and kshema means the one who is not bothered about his or her yoga or his or her kshema. What is yoga? Apraptasya prapanam yogaha. What is kshema? Praptasya rakshanam kshemaha. Yoga means the gain of that which I don't have. And that's a lot of things really. So many things I don't have. OMG. This I don't have, that I don't have, this I don't have, so many things I don't have. And so the list of which comes under yoga, here yoga doesn't mean asana, yoga doesn't mean karma yoga, it's a technical term when it is used with kshema. So yoga means Here, in this context, gaining all this agenda of all the things I do not have. What I don't have? I don't have money. I don't have time. I don't have people to love me. I don't have fame. I don't have name. I don't have all these things. I don't have Aishwarya. Aishwarya means the ability to influence other people. I don't have that. So many things one can say. The list is big and long. And then that's why holidays like Christmas, etc., becomes fraught with tension, because everybody's wants come to dinner at the same time. It's not people gathering for dinner, it's all the wants gathering for dinner. So there are big articles about how to overcome holiday stress. But nowhere in the articles it mentions, reduce your wants, the stress will go away. And so wants is not just in terms of presents. That's just the least part of it. But the wants in terms of how I should be treated, how somebody should treat me, and what should I do with this person, what should I do with that person, this person disrespected me, that person did this, etc. That's why we are having the retreat during the holiday season. Okay? So this is the idea, is that we interrogate the fact that there are so many wants that I am unable single-handedly to fulfill any of them. I'm not able. Because the more I try, the more what I don't want comes. So what to do? Give it to Bhagavan. Give it to Bhagavan. Then you become niryoga. You are not in charge of what you want. Give it to Bhagavan. Say, if this is right for me, let it come. I want this badly. You can be very frank with Bhagavan. I want this very much. I want this badly. And then get me out of this. You take these wants. I cannot handle them. You give me what you think is correct. Niryoga. Kshema means praptasya rakshana. All this is mine with great difficulty. I have collected this. And I want to show off that I have collected this also. Because what's the point of collecting if I am not able to show? Collector's item should be shown in the showcase. I have to show, do this. I have to show a few people, look how successful I have been in fulfilling my Raga Dveshas. Come, see. And then I'm hoarding. So the person comes and says, can I see? I become territorial, like a dog. Like a dog, guarding the territory for no reason at all. This is called kshema. Going back to previous lifetimes, like a lifetime of a dog and whatnot. Once I was having a lot of difficulty. I was supposed to organize one big conference for Pujya Swamiji, and he had asked me to get some address lists from people so that we could send them invitations. And these people who were supposed to give the list of addresses would not give. I went there from the ashram, I went to their place, I asked everything, wrote them letters, pleaded with them, talked to them. Nothing. They had said, many people used to say things in front of Pujya Swamiji, but then there was no follow-up afterwards. And so they had said, yeah, we'll share the address list. But no address list came forth. So then I went to see Pujya Swamiji once, and it happened that the same day they also came to see Pujya Swamiji. So I said, okay, this opportunity must not be lost. So I asked him for a private audience. So he said, yes, come. And then I said, they are also here, please tell them. And then just something came out of me. I said, why are people so territorial, Swamiji? This was the word I used. Why are people so territorial? And he thought. I thought something he's going to say, some very important thing. I said, maybe I should write it down. Then he thought somehow Then I thought maybe I should leave. The interview is over. The time with him is over. But it didn't seem like it was over. And after what seemed like an eternity, he said, there are two reasons. Two reasons why people are territorial. The first reason is there were dogs in their previous life and that samskara has not gone. And you know, while he was saying this, they were right outside. I was in the room and they were right outside. And the second reason, he said, is they are getting ready to be dogs in their next life. I felt instantly validated. And finally, after they went in, he was able to unclutch the addresses from their paws and then gave it to me. And so the conference could go on and could be successful also. But this was Swamiji, the wit was amazing, and to be able to think on his feet, nobody can do that. Nobody. The right answer would come all the time. I'm going to go on another digression. We'll come back. Okay. Once in a satsang, a visibly upset woman was sitting and she just asked, why are all Indian men, the husbands, we're supposed to treat them like gods? Why? She's very agitated. And Swamiji said, so that you can be a goddess. Very simple and she didn't know what to do. She was like, okay, she said that ability to disarm with just a few words, that ability to deal with people, nobody else can be like him. It's the hallmark of Atma Jnanam, really. So, now coming back here, so yoga and kshema. Now we know what yoga and kshema is. Yoga is I want, kshema is rrr. Okay? Yeah. Now you'll never forget yoga and kshema. So then, what do you do with this yoga kshema? Give it to Bhagavan. Just say, here are all these things I have collected with great difficulty. Family closeness, family welfare, and then what else? So many things I have, so many people in my life, my name, my reputation, my fame, all these things I give to you to be able to take care of. Please take care of it. Why? Because I want to study Vedanta. Really, I want to come out of Maya. This is how to come out of Maya. I want to study Vedanta. I can't study Vedanta because I'm constantly like a dog doing chowkidari. How do you say chowkidari in English? Yeah, so some previous, what is the role? In the previous life of being a security guard, that samskara, that vasana is still there and I'm guarding everything. Then where is the time for Vedanta? Where is the time for prayer? Where is the time for Antakarna Shuddhi? Therefore, what I have to do? Drop the yoga and kshema. Where? In Bhagavan's lap. That's why, right in the middle of the Bhagavad Gita, we have a beautiful verse. Which is the middle of the Bhagavad Gita? 9th chapter. In the middle of the 9th chapter, maybe 27th verse or something, and very beautiful and famous verse also, Ananyashchintayanto mam ye janah paryupasate tesham nityabhiyuktanam yogakshemam vahamyaham. The word yoga and kshema come? Bhagavan is talking. And what does Bhagavan say? Vahami. Vahami means what? I will bear. I will bear the burden, not just of one jiva, not just of you, the whole universe. Whole universe of yoga kshema of 8 billion people think, Bhagavan can hold because after all he is Giridhari. He was able to hold the mountain. This is nothing for him. He can carry any number of things. He who was able to excavate the mountain single-handedly, and then when this big deluge came, he was able to hold it with what? Little finger. Not like, I don't know what's going to happen. You might all be flattened. No, it is little finger effortlessly. He who can do that, a few yoga kshemas, a few wants and don't wants, he can't protect. How is that possible? Not possible at all. So here in this verse, he says, Vahami aham. I will bear the burden of protecting what you have and giving you what you want, what you need. Give it to me. Don't carry this. If you keep on carrying the burden, it's like you're taking away the portfolio that belongs to me onto you. And Pujya Swamiji used to illustrate this with a story which he had observed. It was his own experience. Once he travelled by train, local train in Mumbai. And there was this vegetable seller. She, with a big basket, she boarded the train. Everybody helped and then caught hold of her and made her board the train. And the basket was still on her head as the train is moving. Then everybody said, we'll help you put the basket on the floor. She said, no, I don't want to burden the train. You see, this is what we are doing. This is what we are doing. We may laugh at that simple-minded lady, but, because she thought, if I keep it down, I'll have to pay extra for that. That's what she thought. That's why she said, no, I have just paid one ticket, I will not pay for the extra thing, so I will continue to hold it. This is what we are doing. We may laugh at her simple-mindedness, but what, are we any better? The answer is no. A resounding no. We are not any better. We are saying, we are doing bhajans and kirtans and everything. Tera tujhko arpan, we keep saying. Tan, man, dhan, sab kuch tera hai. But the same fellow says it the next day also. And Bhagavati says to Bhagavan, what's wrong with these people? Didn't he give you everything that belonged to him yesterday? What's wrong with these people? कल सब कुछ दे दिया ना, आज क्या बचा है? And Bhagavan says, these people are like that only. Don't take them too seriously. When they say everything is yours, Bhagavan, my body is yours, my mind is yours, my wealth is yours, my health is yours, don't take them seriously. That's why I make them say it every day. Every day I have to say. Why? Because I forget. So I have to give this up. Give up the pressure of taking my likes and dislikes with myself all the time. Being responsible for my likes and dislikes is a big downer for Vedanta. It will not bless. This kind of a thing will not bless Pragati. Pragati means what? Progress in this knowledge is made when I loosen the bonds with regard to my wants and things and people, situations, events that I need to protect. So, that's why the verse starts with Ananyaha Chintayantaha Ma. Ananya means those who are in the path of seeing myself as non-separate from them. Ananya Bhakti. Jnani's Bhakti is Ananya Bhakti. Ananya means not that you are separate and then I am separate, but then I may feel that you are separate, but right now I have the Shraddha that you and I are one. The essence of you and the essence of me is one and the same. I know that. And I want to internalize this knowledge to one who says, for such people, and then Ananyas Chintayanto Ma Ye Janaha Paryupasate. That is the highest form of bhakti. This was also said, Bhakti Ruttama. What is that? Bhavana Shunya. Bhakti Ruttama. It was said earlier in the 11th verse of the 10th verse, I forgot, but it was said earlier. Bhavana Bhida Bhakti Uttama. Which verse is that? Bhavana Bhida, 8th verse. Yeah, we saw that. So, Abhidha Bhavana, this oneness, having this understanding of oneness is the ultimate form of bhakti. Here also, Ananyaha Chintayanto Mam, those who are worshipping me by striving to understand the non-difference between me and themselves, Ye Janaha Paryupasate, those people who are worshipping me in this manner. Worshipping me means taking Vedanta classes, studying constantly. Tesham, for such people, Nitya Abhiyuktana, those who are in a committed lifestyle to gain this knowledge. One of the lifestyles. It can be sannyasa or it can be karma yoga. Those who are on the path of gaining this knowledge through whichever lifestyle you choose, Nityabhiruktanam. It's not like I have taken one Vedanta class and then yes, on Ananyatvam, now I know. No, no. Nitya, all the time committed. Yoga Kshemam Vahami Aham. So prayerfully every day I have to put my concerns, my anxieties, my fears and whatever I want, etc. In the lap of Bhagavan. That's why you see how important the altar of surrender is. The altar of surrender is called altar because only that has the power to alter me. That's why. No other reason. It's the altar. This is how I understand. So, this is these are the four upayas, remedies given by Bhagavan to come out of the Triguna or Trigunatmika Maya. It's a very easy thing. It's wonderful. It's really wonderful. There are, when I was, somebody, when I was very small, I am told, I don't remember this, some auntie visited the house, okay, and then she brought her knitting. She had been knitting this wonderful sweater with different colors, and then it had some designs and everything like that. And then she left the knitting and went somewhere, and this curious toddler went inside, and then first the knitting needles came out. Oh, interesting. Oh, what's that? Oh, wow, wonderful, wonderful. And when the so-called auntie came back, what she found was what? Yarn, woolen yarn. This is what it was. And it's a very satisfying feeling if you've tried doing it. In the same way, unraveling from Maya is also a very satisfying feeling. The sweater looks so real. The houses in the sweater, there were some little houses and something like that she had very painfully knitted. But they also looked very real. But really, what is it? It's all unraveling. Atma-jnanam is like that. You call the bluff of this tapestry. You call the bluff. It's like a picture which has been painted with sattva, rajas, tamas. There the sun is shining, that's also in the painting. And then the moon will come later, that's also in the painting. People are going to work, that's all in the painting. And we can't have no trees in the painting. Some trees and bushes and shrubs and flowers are there to pretty up the whole place. That's also in the painting. Roads are there, that's in the painting. What else do you want? Oh, body of water. Yes, ocean, river, whatever you want is there. That's also in the painting. Oh, but I'm alone, I need friends. Okay, we'll have lot of stick figures. With the stick, you put a little zero on top of the stick, that's the head, and you put 2 more sticks for hands and 2 more sticks for legs. This is called a stick figure. So we'll put many, many stick figures. But how do you know which one is me? What is your favorite color? Orange. Okay, there. We put an orange little scarf on one stick figure. That's you. And then what? And then there are all these things. Oh, so many things. It looks like a beautiful painting from outside, but only the figures in the painting know how situation in the painting is so sticky. That's why stick figures. Okay? Yeah. So sticky situation. Each stick figure is fighting with another stick figure and all these things. And then what shall we put in the painting? We'll go out of this city and then we'll put a road there. And then we will put a little building that says Gurukulam. That's also in the painting. Don't forget that. Arsha Vidya, Gurukulam. And then we'll draw another stick figure, Guru's stick figure, paint the Guru orange. Okay? Yeah. And then this little stick figure is walking to the Gurukulam. It's all in the painting. It's a cognitive transcendence. I don't need to jump out of the body. I don't need to jump out of the painting. While, as though remaining in the painting, I know it's a painting. That is the bluff has been called. Vitti bhage same chitram. Where? Advaita Makranda. Towards the end he says. It's like he says, if you're running next to a wall which has all these murals, you see, even if you go in rural Maharashtra, there are these Warli paintings, and then if you go into Uttar Pradesh, Madhubani paintings, which people put on their compound cob walls. Cob means this tightly packed mud is called cob. These mud walls are full of paintings, people running, walking, doing this. And if you run past the compound, you feel like it's moved. Vitti bhagya means on the surface of the wall. Same chitram, it's just like that chitra. It's like that chitra. This is what the essence of the Dakshinamurti Stotram also is. And what is the Dakshinamurti Stotram? The Dakshinamurti Stotram is Vishwam Darpana Drishyamana Nagari. It is like a city in the scene in the mirror. Supposing there is a busy city, what is that called? Crossroads in the city with all those spaghetti junctions, meaning the highway is going like this, another one is meeting, all these things are happening. Right there, you put this big mirror, let us say. You look in the mirror, everybody has something to do. Somebody is leaving, somebody is coming, somebody is going, somebody is staying, busy, without business, very busy. Everybody is doing something, and you are watching all of that. Where? Through this mirror. And where is this mirror? Here. Nijantargatam. Right here is the similar mirror. And why the mirror example is given is that if it rains in the city, the mirror is untouched. If there is fog in the city, or not fog, what is that called? Smog. Smog, no? That's what it's called, right? The air pollution. If there is smog in the city, the smog is not on the surface of the mirror. The mirror is free of whatever it's reflecting, and so too I, this self-effulgent I, am free of whatever is reflected. And whatever is reflected is not falsified. You don't say this Jagat is Asat, non-existent. We don't say that. What do we say? This Jagat is Brahman. It's Brahma. This is not non-existent. It is in fact Brahman alone. This Jagat is Brahman, and so therefore what? I have to understand this, and to see that I have to look at all this as an apparent reality. When can I look at it as an apparent reality? When I have a hold of what I am. First I have to know what I am in order to be able to see that this is a temporary reality. How do I know what I am? Go back to the first set of talks and you will see that the advice that was given was to re-identify oneself as a devotee. Not as a woman, not as a man, not as a son or a daughter, not as a mother or father, not as a spouse, not as an employer, employee, all that comes later. First and foremost, I am a devotee. And since the devotee is non-separate from the object of devotion, this knowledge will come. Definitely will be here to stay. So this is how one does not come under the spell of Maya. It's an involved verse because Ramana Maharshi is like that. He just assumes we know everything and he just, passes through that. So, the sattvic expression of Maya is Jnana Shakti and Ichha Shakti. Therefore, I have to come out of Rajas and Tamas. And so, when the mind becomes very, still, the breathing also becomes what? Quiet. And the other way also we can say. When the when the breathing is still, the mind is also still, both ways. And so what do? First we start with prana vikshanam, observing the breath. This everybody can do. Pranayama should be done under the consultation. Because especially if one has heart problems or blood pressure, in fact it reduces the blood pressure, but it has to be done properly. So, but prana vikshanam you don't need any guidance. Special guidance you don't need. You can just, what are you doing? watching the in-breath, watching the out-breath. That's what you do. And the prana-vikshanam itself is enough to bring us to a place of objectivity. And that objectivity is what is the absorption of the mind called laya. This is exactly the word, like the world before creation. The world before creation is in a state of what? Laya. From laya we have srishti. Then we have what? Sthiti. Then we have what? Laya number 2. So you see macro and micro. There the Jagat is in laya, Maya is in an unmanifest state. Here also the thoughts are in laya, which is a very important step. If you are from the yoga philosophy, if somebody is from the yoga philosophy, what will they say? They will say that this itself is enlightenment. Laya, samadhi is enlightenment. We don't consider that. Because when you come out of the samadhi, it is business as usual. The same ignorant person who was ignorant when? Before the samadhi, wakes up after the samadhi and continues to be what? Ignorant. Because the problem is self-ignorance. The problem is not that I have to stop thinking. In fact, it would be nice if I could stop thinking, but that's not a possibility. A little while you can enjoy a tranquil mind, but the thoughts will come back, and along with the thoughts, the so-called duality comes back. But I have to understand this, that despite of thoughts, Swamiji wrote a small booklet, Silence in Spite of Thoughts. Silence in spite of thoughts. This is what we need. So if we equate silence with thoughtlessness, which is a wrong equation, number 1, and if we equate enlightenment with silence, both those are wrong notions. But modern Vedanta is like that. Once one Mahatma came, a big religious leader came to Rishikesh, and Swamiji was very, very always honoring of anybody, and so he said, please say a few words to all the students. I was studying there at that time. And then that person started by saying, if you know, those who know, do not talk. Those who talk, do not know. After that, he proceeded to speak for 2 hours. So, this disconnect. This is the disconnect. This is the problem. This is the notion. Those who know do not talk. And therefore what? I am attracted to silent gurus who will not give any instruction. Why? Because I have studied Dakshinamurti Stotram. Mauna Vyakhya Prakatita Param Brahma Tattvam Yuvanam. Mauna Vyakhya. Taught in silence. He didn't teach in silence. He was using language. It was VSL. You know what ASL is? American Sign Language. This is VSL, Vedantic Sign Language. He was using language. It is the Chin Mudra. And don't make the mistake. Once somebody asked me if it's Chin Mudra, you should hold it near your chin. No. Chit plus Mudra, Chin Mudra. This is how he taught. This is the ahankara, pointing finger. It's all your fault, your fault, your fault. Because of you this happened, because of you that happened. We go around with a roaming finger. This is ahankara. This is, you can decide what these 3 are. Body, mind, senses. You know, what is that? Shariratrayam, subtle body. What else is there? Gross body. What's the 3rd one? Causal body. You can decide what these 3 are. Any 3 things will do. The ahankara is stuck to these, like Velcro. These are its friends. That's why it's always sad. Because it identifies with the body, it identifies with the mind, it identifies with the senses. Or you can take it as past, present, future. It identifies with all these units of time and it's miserable. They are all great friends. They play together. They work together to create a miserable, to create misery in Mauritius. They work together. In beautiful Mauritius, one can be miserable. Okay? They all work together, they band together. And then meanwhile, there is this odd one out. Ye kya hai? What is this? It's fat, it's out of place, it's short and fat. These are all long and slender, piano playing fingers. And then this one is what? Ye kya hai? What is this doing? And it just seems to be useless. Useless? Really? Okay, let's pretend it doesn't exist. Try doing something. Try picking up something from the floor. Can you do that? No. What does the thumb do? It gives satta to the hand. It gives the existent to the hand, existence. It gives spurti, functionality to the hand. Satta spurti pradhanena. Through this giving of its lends, its kushalata, it lends itself to making the hand functional. Without the thumb, no transaction is possible, as we alas know from the story of Ekalavya. Ekalavya became a great archer by having the clay murti of Dronacharya. Very sad story. Very sad story. And then because Drona said, I can't teach you. I'm a Brahmana, you are a tribal boy, I can't teach you. I only teach Rajapurushas, royalty and big people. Actually, he should not have been an archer. He was a Brahmana, he should have been doing studying. But he changed his occupation, but he was not willing to give the benefit of the doubt to this boy and make him strong in archery. You see how the wrong promises and things, this is how we learn from the archetypes in the Mahabharata. Drona is a very negative archetype for us from the standpoint of Vedanta. And so what did Drona do? He made a promise, I'll make Arjuna the best archer. So this boy was dejected but did not feel rejected. He made a little clay murti and practiced in front of it and excelled even Arjuna. And went very innocent, very naively said, here I am, what is your Guru Dakshina? I want to give Guru Dakshina because I thought of you every day, and that itself imparted everything. And the cruel Drona said, cut off your thumbs and give it to me as Guru Dakshina, so that you can never practice archery again, or for that matter anything else. It's as good as being handicapped. So the thumb is very important, just like the thumb is very important in the hand, in the Jagat. In fact, forget the Jagat, in this body-mind sense complex, this Brahman lends itself for the Jnanendriya, the Karmendriya, everyone to be functional. Without Brahman, this is nothing. So the Ahankara is not associated with these three. First, it is told to bend. Because when you bend, amazing things happen. Perspective comes, humility comes, Madhya Pradesh gets reduced when you bend. So many things happen. So, and then what? It is told, Tattvamasi. This is the Mahavakya. You are this Brahman, you are not this, not this, not this. So how can you say he taught in silence? This is a very big thing. But since the sages were elderly means old souls. They had been around many lifetimes, and they were so purified that they could get it just by doing this. If anybody else unprepared had gone, if somebody had done this, they would say, what is this? Are you insulting me? What are you doing? You would have become defensive. But here, they got enlightened, because that's all that was needed. They were so sensitive and they were so prepared for this knowledge. Just this was enough. So don't say he taught without using any language. He did use language. So the silence and thoughts, we have to be very clear about that. There is no harm in being silent. It is wonderful to be silent. In fact, even your family members will reward you if you are silent every day. They will be the happiest. They will say, wonderful, I'll give you a present every day for this. Be silent, no problem. Don't confuse silence with Atma-jnanam, with self-knowledge. And don't confuse a quiet mind with enlightenment. A quiet mind doesn't mean it is enlightened. Anybody can be silent. You can practice being silent and you can just stop talking altogether. But that doesn't mean, and you can practice what is that called? Thought rodhanam. And you can stop your thoughts. But then when the thoughts come back, nobody loves me. That is the first thought. Even though I was silent, nobody loves me. And this attraction to silence is normal and natural. You know why? Because we are surrounded by strife and conflict. So that's why silent gurus are very much loved. Yes. Gurus that don't talk are highly regarded because we come from strife, conflict, fear. So generally, gurus that are no longer in the body are highly regarded because they don't talk. It's the same as silent gurus. So if you're not in the body, and then I take you to be, if I take somebody to be the guru, they are not in the body, then I don't have to deal with them. They are silent. And similarly, a guru who doesn't talk is very attractive because I can continue as usual, and then I need not interrogate myself, I need not question my behavior, I need not have any kind of an interaction. That's one reason why silent gurus are preferred. Another reason why silent gurus are preferred or we find them attractive is because the life is itself so much conflict in the family, so much strife, no peace of mind. And you go sit with somebody who doesn't talk, immediately you feel better. Shanti, very nice. But as soon as you depart from the guru, what happens? Everything comes back. That is not Atma-jnana. You are just siphoning off the guru's peace, and that is what is sitting near means what? You are siphoning off his or her peace and then enjoying it. Since it's not your own peace, as soon as you go out, the strife and the conflict come and stare at you in the face. Next verse. Laya vinashane ubhaya rodhane. Laya vinashane ubhaya rodhane. Laya gatam punar bhavati no mritam. Laya gatam punar bhavati no mritam. See that in the evening class. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Please charge this or do what you need to do. Please, thank you.